Back body is going to include the whole spinal cord, the sacrum, the pelvis, as well as the cranium, because on the back, the occipital base is probably the most important in terms of accessing movement. There's a part of the brain right back through here. You touch the back of your skull and you'll feel where that curve comes up, goes slightly above the curve. And the cerebellum, the little cerebrum, is the place where balance, coordination, and posture integrate, right back there. So we activate the nerves going to this backside of the body so that you start to integrate. And by the way, this is where all your autonomic functions are too. Your breathing, your heart rate, your blood pressure, right breathing. And so what it's going to take is some reflection as to how am I moving. And so that's what we take a little time for here as we go through the movements. I know Rocco's doing that too in 52 moves, which is, I hope, great for you guys. But we reflect, and then we're looking for this intelligence of the body that is integrating everything, so that instead of moving like this, we're moving like this, right? And we know the difference between the two, don't we? I mean, I don't have to say much other than this versus that, right? So we have to work with gravity, but there's another piece I'm going to add in. I've been talking about gravity this whole time. So everybody line up with your back against the mirror here. And I'm going to add in a piece called fascia. Raise your hand if you know what fascia is. Okay, fascia is a web, like pantyhose? Okay, Spanx, right? It's a fascia connective tissue that holds you in. If we, not Spanx. If we took out all the fascia in your body, you would fall to the ground. That's the importance of fascia. It is holding you up. In particular, you have transverse fascia here, here, and here, and around here. Straps, think of them like belts that help you from going too broad. When you get broad when you get older because the fascia starts to break down, essentially. So here you're going to test your back body. You're going to look in the mirror in front of you. You're going to take your arms behind you. And notice how my arms are parallel. And Jean, you might want to move to the side so you don't have to. And if my fascia is not tight in my back, then I can get my arms straight, and I can also get them flat on the mirror behind me. I'm simplifying that a little bit. If some of the fascia, and this is a particular test, so straighten your arms, lock the elbows, lock the elbows, lock the elbows all the way. The arms might come off the wall. So bring your arms off the wall and lock the elbows. In other words, if your arms are too back behind it, it's harder. So lock the elbows. Here, bring your arms up. There. Okay, right there. Lock, lock. Okay, those of you who can't touch the wall behind you, lock the elbows and then move back. And then stop wherever it stops locking. Okay? So you're going to lock again, Dean. There, yes. Because notice the difference. Lock the elbows. Don't worry about the arms being on the wall behind you. Okay, now release the elbows. Lock. Release. What happens to your body?
It gets shorter.
Yes. Okay, lock the elbows. Don't worry about your arms touching the wall. Bring the arms down. Okay. Release the elbows. Notice the body move in. Okay. Lock the elbows, come up. Release the elbows, come down. Different move. Okay. So when you lock the elbows, you're reaching out with your body. Yes. And guess what? Most of us are stuck in. Very few of us are stuck too far out. Maybe just a few people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Rocco. It's for you, Rocco. That it's so long that just keeps going, So does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's one of your posture tests. Come off the wall, okay? This is fascia test. So then you know what work needs to be done. Watch first. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to come over, and you're going to try and go over as far as you can. You let the head come over, let the arms come over, okay? And so then you can see from there in your chest, the tightness. Okay, so you want to have your arms at least perpendicular to the ground. Okay? Yeah. So I'm giving you guys some self-tests. Okay, you can come on up. So that you might have, I call them goals and gauges. Goals and gauges. So the gauge is, I want my arms to at least be perpendicular to the ground, and that's the gauge, and then the goal might be that, or the goal might be in other exercises to help to affect that change.
And on the other one, would you want to be able to touch the wall when your elbows are locked?
Yeah, you want, and what does that mean? You know, at the most basic level, let's say the most fundamental, it means my organs are free. There's space for my organs. Yeah, we don't ever think of these things at a visceral or an organ level, but isn't it true? If my chest is tight, what happens to my lungs? Yeah, they're compressed, right? Yeah, most people don't know this about yoga, but the real yoga is not moving around and doing all these fantastic poses. The real yoga is opening up the tissue so that the organs are free. It's a physiological effect we're looking for. We're looking for that in Nia too. A physiological effect and an energetic one, not what we typically think of as a physical. The physical is just like a way of looking at it, right? I'm trying to think of something else where there's like a tool or a handle that we use to get to something that's invisible. Can you see your organs? No, but you can see the way that you move. And then from that, you can make a few guesses. Yeah. So I like that look on your face where it's like, the organs. I love it.
That way.
Yeah, I love it when I see the aha, go through somebody's face and like, yes, I never thought of it that way. So let's go ahead and let's begin. I always could take up the whole hour, so I won't.
Finally surrendering my socks.
Look, I'm going to go back, thank you, go back to the same thing as back to the back body, to the X when you move, and the somatic reflection going to get harder while you're moving in the middle of class, right? Against the wall there, you have time to reflect. So you have to think it's dynamically. It's dynamic thought. Nia's the only one that's going to really kind of give you the dynamic challenge. That's what I've always liked. For 10 years, I practiced my white belt training. And I just like come in this room and just practice it over and over and over again until I felt like I was getting it. So, reflect. Let's take 2 steps in. Let's go with reflection and the back body. 2 steps and then feet together. Arms up. Feel the back body right now. Yeah, good for that, yeah. 3 claps.